They patched some holes. Sure they did. James Daniels. Larry Borum. Fine. The Dolphins aren't blind. They know the offensive line was leaking like a screen door in a hurricane last season. But let's be honest, what they've done so far feels like putting tape over a cracked windshield and hoping it holds up at 75 miles per hour on I-95. It won't. And they know it. So now there's a name floating in the wind. Not just any name. One that carries weight, and pain, and questions. Tyron Smith. Yeah, that Tyron Smith. 5-time All-Pro. 8-time Pro Bowler. Former cornerstone of the Dallas Cowboys line. A human wall when healthy, a ghost when not. He hasn't played a full season since 2015. That's not a typo. Since 2015. A lot of linemen don't even last that long. And yet here he is, back in the rumor mill. And somehow Miami's name is swirling around him like bait in the current. Let's not pretend this is clean. It isn't. Smith's body is tired. You can feel it in the way his story is told now. There's always a but. Always a when he's on the field. Always an asterisk next to the praise. That neck injury last season with the Jets didn't help. 10 games. And then poof, gone. Not a bad 10, to be fair. Solid enough to make you remember why he was once considered the gold standard at left tackle, but not enough to make you forget the 44 games he missed in the last 5 years. That math doesn't lie. Still, there's something about him. You can't coach presence. And when Smith steps into a locker room, it changes. Ask the Jets' young linemen. Ask Olu Fashanu. Ask Joe Timan. They'll tell you. Smith didn't just block defenders, he taught. He mentored. He gave shape to chaos, even if his body couldn't always follow through. That kind of leadership doesn't show up in stats. But it matters, especially to a team like Miami, staring at a future without Terron Armstead, whose retirement looms like a thundercloud nobody wants to talk about. So the question isn't just should the Dolphins sign Tyron Smith? It's can they afford not to? Let's pause on that, because on the surface, it's easy to scoff. Smith is 33. His body's been stitched together with tape and adrenaline. He's a risk. A big one. But the Dolphins aren't shopping for guarantees. They're hunting for impact. For someone who can hold the line, while Tua keeps his jersey clean. For someone who knows what it means to protect something valuable. For someone who's been to hell and back in the trenches, and still wants more. You know what else isn't guaranteed? James Daniels fitting into this scheme like a glove. Larry Borum suddenly morphing into a full-time starter who erases edge rushers. There's uncertainty baked into every piece of this line. Adding Smith wouldn't erase that, but it would shift it. It would bring something real, something known, even if it's imperfect. And yes, the Dolphins would have to play this smart. You don't hand out a fat contract to a guy who might give you 8 games. That's not what this is. This is about structure, incentives, veteran minimum plus performance boosts. Protect the cap, protect the roster, and roll the dice. Because if the dice land right, you've got a Hall of Famer on your left side who can still maul defenders when the moment calls for it. And here's the twist. Maybe Smith doesn't even want to start every snap. Maybe what he needs is a team that gets it. A team that manages him, not pushes him until he breaks again. Spot starts. Key games. Situational deployment. Let him lead. Let him teach. Let him breathe. He's not a long-term answer. But maybe he's the bridge. And right now, Miami needs a bridge more than a promise. Some fans will shake their heads at this. They'll say it's time to go younger. Build through the draft. Develop your own. And they're not wrong. But they're not completely right either. Because the window isn't wide open forever. Tua's health. Tyreek's prime. Fangio's departure. There are pieces in place right now that scream urgency. The Dolphins don't have 3 years to figure out the line. They barely have 1. The foundation is fragile. A crack here, a slip there, and everything tumbles. Smith could help delay that collapse. Not prevent it entirely. Let's not be naive, but hold it back. Give Tua that extra second. Open that crucial lane. Whisper wisdom into the ear of a rookie who's about to get his welcome to the NFL moment. That matters. That could be the difference between a playoff run and another offseason of what-ifs. But it's not just about the field. Smith brings gravity, identity. He's been through it all. Highs, lows, surgeries, comebacks, failures. There's a quiet fire to him, the kind that can burn away complacency. Miami has talent, yes. But does it have edge? Does it have that trench warfare mindset when things get ugly in December? Smith might not be the loudest guy in the room, but when he lines up, you feel it. And sometimes, that's enough to make the guy next to him play just a little harder, a little smarter. There's also the Armstead factor. If Terran really does hang it up, that's a void not just in talent, but in voice, in maturity, in calm. You don't replace that easily. You definitely don't replace it with a rookie. Smith, even broken, can still anchor that locker room, can still give those meetings purpose. And if by some miracle, he gives you 10 clean games, that's gold.